And welcome everyone to another exciting adventure on the energy that surrounds us. I'm your host, Michael, and tonight's topic is apparently very popular because we've had a chat room active since 4:45 p.m. my time. So thank you all for, your excitement into this, and I am super excited to have this guest on because I don't always do episodes about cryptids or specific cryptids. And so tonight I thought it's October. What better time to have a show on some cryptids? Sasquatch, Bigfoot included in that. And so I was so blessed and fortunate to have this guest agree to come on. And we have some amazing photos to share with you from her collection. So I am going to turn it over to her to introduce herself because I can't do it justice. So I give you the one, the only Sasquatch extraordinaire, Michelle Heaton.
Hi. So I'm Michelle Heaton, and I have a small little research group. It's called Sweet Home Oregon Sasquatch Research Group, and we are based in Sweet Home, Oregon. And I follow up with reports. It all started because I started getting reports from people because I have stickers on my car. And I would go to Safeway, I'd go to the grocery store, and I'd come out and there'd be somebody standing by my car, like waiting to tell me their story, So that's how I started
That's really cool,
actively, doing that.
So, but your beginnings actually for those, you didn't just start with Sasquatch. You actually started, ironically, on the other coast.
Yeah, I did. I grew up in Michigan. So I was born and raised in Michigan. And then when I got older, I lived in Chicago for about 10 years. And I was ghost hunting. But let me go. Can I start at the very beginning?
Please do.
So when I was 5 years old, and the reason I remember this was because it was 1978. And I don't know if you're familiar, you might not be as old as me. In 1978, there was a snowstorm in the Midwest, and Michigan got like 8 feet of snow. And I remember that was the same time that my dreams had started. So that summer, I saw a UFO when I was with my aunt, one of her friends. And we stopped and got out of the truck, and it was hovering above a cornfield, not even a mile away from my house. And I remember looking at it, and it was silver dish shaped from what I can remember. I can barely remember it. But I remember asking her what it was, and she's like, "That's a UFO, Shelly." And I was like, "Awesome." Cool. So anyways, that same year is the same year that I started having reoccurring dreams about Bigfoot. And they were not instigated. It wasn't suggestive. We didn't talk about Bigfoot. Actually, I lived in an area where it wasn't common at all to even have a Bigfoot sighting. So it's in the southern part of Michigan, where it's just mostly like flat farmland. And so
That's
I started
Dogman territory, isn't it?
it from what I hear now. Yeah. But I mean, there's been some really weird stuff that happens there. My grandmother used to see a black panther in her field all the time. And she would swear up and down, and everybody just thought that she was crazy. And then after she passed away, they finally figured out it was jaguars. It was a jaguar population. They had been migrating up from Mexico. So they're actually there. She really did see them, But I had one time when I was about maybe 20 or 21, I saw what I thought was a pterodactyl. I didn't know what it was. I still don't know what it was, but it was huge. So,
So I can tell you, you're the second person I know that claims they've seen a pterodactyl. I have a friend, Andy, in the UK, who one of his favorite stories to tell is his pterodactyl sighting.
that's awesome. That's really cool. You know what? It kind of reminded me of when I see pictures of a harpy eagle. It kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Like it had something going on around its neck. And I remember it had like, I don't know if it was claws or what at the end of its wings, but its wings. So my mother had one of those great big giant Plymouths, like an old Plymouth that you could put like 5 people easily in the front seat. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
So it was really super wide, almost as wide as the lane on the road. And its wingspan was way wider than that. When it came down, I was driving, it came down, swooped down in front of me and stopped and went up over the back hood of the car and over the top of the car. And I was just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
But
I
that's
was born in '78, so I heard the stories of the storm that you were talking about from my parents because I'm from Illinois too, area
oh yeah,
near
they got hit
Chicago.
hard too.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why when you said, "Are you familiar?" I was like, "I'm familiar." I didn't experience it, but I know I've heard of it. I heard tales.
Yeah. Everyone from the Midwest has heard about that storm. Yeah. I remember it covered our chicken coops. Our chicken coops were about 10 feet tall. So there was just a couple of feet of the chicken coops sticking up on top of the snow. Yeah, it was crazy.
It does get crazy weather there, and so
So, let me see. So I was talking about the dreams about Bigfoot. So it kind of all meshes together, and I didn't really get it until I got older, you know. But when I was 19, I remember I woke up one morning and I went downstairs and I sat down at the kitchen table and I started crying. And I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. It's stressing me out. I don't know what he wants. Like, why has this thing been following me since I was 5, you know? So my mom called my aunt, and my aunt, she's gifted. She's got some really beautiful special abilities, and she had some really great friends. So she had a friend named Nancy who was a psychic, and she took me to Nancy. And Nancy told me a couple of really important things. One of them was the next time you have a dream, just tell him face to face to stop scaring you. Just please, you're scaring me. Just please stop. So I did actually, not that night, but the night after, I believe. I had the dream, and then I got like face to face with him. I remember he bent down when he came in the front door. He bent way down and he got in my face, and I said, "Please stop scaring me. You're terrifying," you know. And so a couple days later, I had another dream, but instead of him coming into the house, he stayed out in the front yard and stayed behind a tree, and he'd just peek around, and he'd just look. Ever so not aggressive, just hanging out, watching me. So that's the dream that follows me now.
and so being
So fast
in.
forward.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay. What were you going to say?
I was gonna ask, with now being in Oregon, I know like the Mount Shasta area, there's a
Mhm.
lot of Sasquatch, Bigfoot sightings reports. Are
Yeah.
you by that area or are you in a different area?
I am I would say about 6 to 8 hours north of Mount Shasta. But I've been to Mount Shasta many, many times, and it's one of my favorite places. The energy there just pulls me in. I feel like I'm home when I'm in Mount Shasta. It's amazing. The energy it's just so strong. It's so powerful. Oh my goodness. I love it. It's like a drug.
I was thinking in my head with the photos that we're about to look at, if that's Mount Shasta, I was like, that would explain it. But
No.
being that you're so far away from it in a different area, that makes it even more cool what we're about to see.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So the area that I live in now is famous for having a lot of quartz, a lot of mines.
Oh, quartz.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
thought at first you were meaning courts, like legal courts. And I was like, I'm not so sure that's something I'd be
Quartz.
bragging about on a podcast.
Nope. Tons of quartz and lots of water. So there's just the energy there is amazing.
Oh, I
Really.
imagine you have a lot of portals over there.
Tons. I mean, right now they're talking about they're trying to get some kind of film or something going about the orbs of Sweet Home. I guess they've been around for years and years and years. And Pete Burns had been interested in them, and Ronnie Roseman over in Oak Ridge. Actually, I think Ronnie is working on something. So, yeah, they're pretty popular around here.
Wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's a pretty. So, did you know that going there, or did you just stumble into
No.
that?
Yeah, so that's actually a cool story. We just stumbled upon Sweet Home, and instantly I was like, okay, this is it. You know, you just get that feeling. I got that feeling as soon as I got here. Yeah. But I think I had interest. Okay, originally when I started looking for Sasquatch, it was a hobby. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't serious. Not to me, you know.
Right.
It wasn't until people kind of forced me into it with their own inquisitiveness, you know, and like coming to me for help and telling me their stories and the reports and stuff. And so I was just like, well, okay. So I
And those,
started doing it, and then I started having things happen, and
all
now I'm
those
addicted.
pesky people. Those pesky people.
Yeah, right.
Look at what you've done.
I know, right? But it makes sense though, because the with the experiences that I've had recently, um I've gotten to the point to where I can communicate with them, and it makes sense now. So the first experience that I had, I saw the back of one, and it was like time lapse. I stopped the car because I saw the back of one. And actually, it was out the side of the window, and I was in front of a tree, so I had to put the car in reverse and back up. And by the time I put the car in reverse and back up, it's already ahead another 30 feet. So, and it was so thick. The brush was so incredibly thick that there's no way it had to have teleported there, you know? And so I reached down to grab my camera to take a picture, and I look up and it's already gone. And I'm looking around, and it's like 40 feet back that way. And I was like, what the heck? So it was like I said, like time lapse. It was like here, and then it was here, and then it was here, you know? So, and by the time I got my camera up to take a picture, it was gone. It had disappeared. It didn't go anywhere. It just disappeared. So that was the first experience I had. And on the way out, so it was a trail where you go up, and it's out and back. So you go up and turn around and come back. and I had my friend Tammy with me, and she didn't see it. She didn't see anything. And on the way back out, she was on that side of the trail where I had seen it. And as we're driving out, there's these giant blackberry bushes and ferns and stuff. So it was really thick. It's like ancient forest. And we're driving through, and as we're driving, I'm driving maybe 5 miles an hour because it was pretty bumpy. And the bushes are moving as we're, they're going along next to the car. The bushes are moving, and like something was walking in the bushes, but you couldn't see anything. There was nothing there. And Tammy noticed it. And she's like, look at this. And I'm looking, and I'm like, oh my God. And every time I'd stop, it would stop. And every time I'd go, it would go. So that happened. And, like maybe a week or two later, I went up there with my other friend, my anonymous friend. And he and I had taken a long trail, and we'd come back. And as we were coming out, we saw 3 shadow figures. Like I saw 2 of them. I saw one. I don't know if it was the same one or not, but I saw one run across the path, and then it came back, and I stopped the car and I said, what's going on up here? And he looks up, and as he looks up, we both see another one go back across the road. And it looked like it looked like a solid black mass that wasn't see-through, but it was so shadowy. It was so out of focus. Like, you couldn't, it just looked like something in a black nylon costume or something, crossing. And it was from the waist up too. It didn't have legs. So it was from the waist up, and it looked like it was holding something, or like kind of like a football player, holding a football or something and running. So that we saw that. And then
I have an experience in San Antonio where I might be able to explain how the Sasquatch or Bigfoot was able to move so fast through the brush.
Yeah, how?
And so take in mind, that I physically witnessed this.
Mm-hmm.
So we were at night in this forest, and we would see pathways. But when you turned the flashlight on to light up the pathway, they were covered in brush. But when you took the light off of it, the pathway would reveal itself, and you could actually walk through. And you would not hit a single brush. And if someone turned the flashlight on with you on the other side, the brush would appear undisturbed. And
Really?
so I'm wondering if all that brush that you were seeing in there as the ancient growth, as you point out, is like a dimensional hologram, and he's going right through, walking the trail that he knows is there, but you see it
But we
as
can't
covered
see
in
it.
brush and don't even try to go.
Yeah, no, that could be. That makes sense. Totally. Well, I think that as my experiences evolved over the summer, all of this has taken place this summer too, by the way. They're all experiences that I would never expect, because they're so metaphysical. You know what I mean? Like they're not normal. It's not like seeing a bear out in the woods, The third time that I saw him, I was driving the trails up on a peak where we have our main site where we found the prints. And I was just driving down the trail, and I had Tammy and Lee with me. And Lee is another one of my research partners. So Tammy and Lee both. And I was just coming down the hill, and one of them just right in front of me, off to the side a little bit out of the path, just appeared. It just from the feet up, it just kind of went whoop, and it was there. And then just as quick, I lost my breath. I was like, and then just as quickly as it appeared, it disappeared. And when it disappeared, it went like this. It went whoop. And then, there was like sparkles. like somebody threw glitter in the air, you know what I mean? It was crazy.
It could be a portal
But
closing.
yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought that afterwards. I was just like, but that another thing too is that Tammy and Lee, neither of them saw that either. Only I did. So I was
So
like, okay.
that I can explain too, in a way, is I was taught, and this is a theory that, I put a lot of validity behind because it makes sense, is
Mhm.
when you take like 15 people in a room and you say there's going to be a UFO parked outside in 5 minutes, the five people who believe in UFOs wholeheartedly are going to go outside and go, "Oh my God, this UFO looks so beautiful. It's so amazing. Oh my God, look, the door is opening. We might be able to, see who's flying it."
Yeah.
Then you have the five skeptics they'll walk outside and go, there's something fuzzy. I can't quite make it out, but, there's something there, but I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you what it is. And then you have the five people who don't believe. They're going to go outside and go, "Y'all, there's just sky with stars, clouds, or the sun is out. There's no UFO out here."
Yeah.
It's because our eyes and our minds are seen through the filters of our beliefs.
Yeah.
So if you have no belief in it, you'll
Hmm.
never see it.
Yeah.
If you have some belief that it's possible,
Hmm.
you'll see a fuzzy image that you can't quite make out, or like we were talking about before the show started, pareidoia, kicks in and your mind will cover up something by making you think it's something else.
Yeah.
And if you're the believer, you're going to see it for what it is.
Yeah, totally. I believe that um I think maybe the Reiki might have a little bit to do with that too. Knowing how to manipulate energy or be a conduit for energy. And I think, uh, how do I say, um, people whose perceptions are a little stronger, like having mediumship or ESP or, things of that nature, um, can see into the space that other people can't see.
Right. We're
There's,
more attuned and aware of the energy. So we see
yeah,
it.
susceptible to the energy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we actually have some activity in the chat room.
Oh,
Earlier, Donnie Wiggs, HTD, Cursed Urban says hello.
hey, Donnie.
And the Schultz report, I gotta say, I'm loving the Schultz because I love
Mm-hmm.
Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah,
Is he's asking, could it be an interdimensional traveler from a timeline on Earth without Homo sapiens?
could be.
Yeah,
Could be.
I will admit, I have never thought of, the timeline where Homo sapiens weren't there.
Yeah, yeah,
And
totally.
then he jumped and says, able to jump dimensions, cloak, and smell a human from miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I
And
oh,
then
Donnie's watching on his TV. Cool. Yay, I'm big on a TV.
you made it. You're on TV.
Woo! So I've got a couple of stories about that. I think Adam Schultz had a really good point. So they can smell humans. And this is something that I'm sorry if it offends anybody. I'm not trying to, be gross or anything like that. But one of the things that I do when I go out in the woods all the time wherever I go is I go to the bathroom. And when I tell them I'm here, I'm marking my territory. This is what I smell like. This is me, right? So they know me. I mean, I'm sorry
No, I'm
how
just
bad
laughing
it
because
sounds, but it's a technique that I do use,
no, that's smart actually. Because
Yeah.
they'll tell you that like deers will only stay in certain areas because of the scent.
Yes, absolutely. All the time. It's all about scent.
Yeah. Donnie says, "You said you were live tonight. I had to be here. I shared with other groups." Aw, thank you.
Thanks, Donnie. Yeah. So, but I think that has helped me, helped them to kind of warm up to me more, knowing me, knowing my scent and stuff. And
Yeah.
then what else did he say? He said something else, in the same
Uh,
sentence.
they cloak and jump dimensions.
They cloak and jump dimensions, right? So those pictures that we were talking about, the portal. And then I have a story. One of my sightings, after that sighting, I had another sighting. And this is my most recent sighting. And I was me and my research partner, Eric Massey. He is always camping up there because he has to come all the way from Bend. So usually when he comes all the way out from Bend, he'll stay a couple of nights, and we have a normal camping site that we camp at. And that night, it was funny because I don't live that far away. So if I want to go home, I'll just be like, okay, Eric, see you later. Have fun. I'm going home. And that night, there was nothing happening. It was really quiet. And I was just like, nah, I'm going home. So I left him there and I drove down the mountain, and it took me about a half an hour to get to this one spot where there's a really popular campground. And I was cruising and I came around the curve there. There's a bend in the road. And right when I came around the bend in the road, there's on each side of the road, there's these great big giant eyes. They were like this. This is how far apart they were. And they were like the size of eggs. And instantly, the first thing I thought was, what the heck is somebody doing out here in steampunk glasses, right? I was like, who's going to have steampunk? This is crazy. These crazy kids, like, what are they doing? So I slowed way down and I shut my lights off or turned them on dim, turned my fog lights off. And I come to a complete stop and I just start creeping a little bit. And as I'm creeping up, I'm looking at them. And there's one over on the side of the road over here on my side or on the driver's side. And he's down, like he's so low that his head is almost right on the pavement, his chin. And then I look over here and there's this big tree, and peeking out from the side of the tree was another one. But that one, she'd look at me and then she'd look behind her and she'd look at me, and she had the most gentle movements. And I think that's why I feel like I want to call her a woman, or a female, because she was very gentle, and she'd look at him and then she'd look behind her and look at me. She'd look behind her like she had somebody with her. She had maybe a little one or something behind her. And so I'm about 50 feet away from him when I stopped. And then I kept creeping closer and closer, just real slow, because I didn't want to scare him, and I'm creeping up on him. And then I finally got maybe 10 feet, and the one over on the driver's side kind of locked eyes with me. Not even kind of, he locked eyes with me. And as I'm driving past him, like 2, 3, 4, 5 miles an hour, he's just staring at me the whole way, watching me drive by. And as I get like super close, I was super close to him. He's literally 10 feet away from me, and my window's all the way down, both of my windows were all the way down. I didn't even think to roll them up, And so as I get almost right next to him, the hair on his back, you could see that he was slouched over. But there's a gully there. I went back and checked. But anyways, he was slouched over and the hair on his back kind of shimmered like he was about to cloak or he was cloaking at that moment. It just it looked like hollow glass. It's really hard to explain. And it kind of rippled, right? So it had like this weird ripple effect to it. So I just, continued to pass. And as I saw that, I was like, wow, that is so awesome. Never once was I scared or frightened. I would think like before that happened, I thought that I would be terrified if I saw something like that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, I was inquisitive. I wanted to know what it was. I thought it was so cool looking,
Yeah. At first, when you were describing it with the head being so low to like pavement side, I was thinking maybe that's like the little sun. And then you were talking about the female on the other side, and I was like, there's mom.
Yeah, no. The eyes were like the size of an egg, and they were this far apart. That head was huge. It was massive. And then also, so I told Eric, I said, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 6:00 in the morning, So I got past him. I looked in the rearview mirror. I couldn't see him. Didn't see anything in the rear view. So I just took off. I went home. And the whole time, I'm sorry, I have allergies. Anyways, the whole time between then and the time I got back to camp, I was just, I knew it was something, but it didn't really register. You know what I mean? Like I had to really think about it for like 3 or 4 or 5 days before I finally came to the conclusion that it was a Sasquatch. And then when I told some of my indigenous friends about it, they were like, no, that was a dog man, So I'm still not really sure. I feel like it was a Sasquatch though, So anyways, that morning I came back, and when I came back, I stopped there because I remembered where it was because there's a sign there. And I looked, and there's a 4-foot deep, what do you call it? Like a
valley or
ditch? A ditch. Okay. So there's like a 4-foot deep ditch, and the way that he was bent over, he was probably, and what I'm thinking is that he was crouched down and bent over. It was huge. It had to have been. And then on the other side, the female one, when I looked over there, I took one of my other research partners up there like about a week later, and we looked and we found prints, and where she was standing, she would have been 8 feet tall easily because of the ditch there. So she was standing up and he was crouched down. So
maybe you interrupted their date.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, you know what I think? I have a theory, and I actually have proof of my theory. So there's a really popular campground there, and they have dumpsters. And so I was like, I bet you they're going back there and they're dumpster diving,
Oh, yeah.
So we did. We drove back there and looked, and there's prints back there everywhere, all over the campground. And it's cool because the campground is on a peninsula. So there's only one way into it. It's right there because the driveway is right there too. So, they're dumpster diving. That's what they're doing.
Why not? I mean, the way we are, we throw perfectly good food away because it's got a date on it. So,
yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They could get good scraps, that fish, whatever,
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I
So
went back up to camp that morning and I told Eric about it, and it was real casual about it. I was like, I saw something weird last night on my way home. He's like, really? And I told him, and but it didn't really register until like 3 or 4 or 5 days later.
yeah, and Channel Love Frequency is asking, did you smell them?
Not at all. Not at all. I thought about that too. I was like, God, I could not smell a thing. Oh man, they are so beautiful. They are. Big head,
Yeah,
big hearts for sure.
and
Absolutely. Hi,
uh,
Donnie. Yeah, but I had
uh,
so, huh? Oh,
Donnie's saying you got to show us your tattoos.
I'll show you guys my crop circles.
Oh wow, that is really cool.
Thanks. Yeah. So, anyways, so I was gonna say that after I had seen the one that appeared in front of me and then disappeared, I started having telepathy with them. And I asked him one time, who are you? And he told me, not in words, but in I don't like a thought,
Like a feeling.
like a feeling, yeah, that he's the one. I've been protecting you. I have been protecting you your whole life. He's the one from my dreams when I was 5, you know? So that's how this all kind of ties together.
I love that, and
Yeah.
I was actually thinking that myself when I was like remembering you talking about the dream with the Sasquatch, and I was like,
Mhm.
I was about to ask, do you think you met
Yeah,
that one?
I did. I met him. He introduced himself to me fully. So I think that, no offense to these other people that are going out there with me and not having these experiences, I think these experiences are meant for me. But Eric he's
Right.
had experiences too. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's weird. It's weird how they, like, some of us, me and Eric, and then I have my friend Matt, who's a part of my research group. The 3 of us, we have a lot of experiences. But then, hi Pam. Oh, sorry, I thought it said Michelle.
Oh, you're fine.
Anyways, but the other ones, the ladies, they haven't seen anything or had any experiences up there. So it's strange. It's really strange.
Yeah. So normally I let conversation go, but we've been promising photos, so I feel
Yeah.
like if we keep talking, we're gonna run out of time for the photos, and everyone's gonna be like, "You didn't show us anything."
Yeah. Go for it. Roll it.
All right. So here we go, everyone. Let's see.
That's the footprint from the side of the road where the one was standing.
Yeah, I'll try to show. Was
Yeah.
this stick over the footprint, or was that
Yes.
the end of the footprint?
That's over the footprint.
So it actually goes further down to here.
Yes, it does. Yeah. It actually goes
Wow.
further down. Yeah.
And
But it's so soft there. There's so much like old foliage and stuff that it goes really deep.
it does, and I find it amazing how you have the toe marks.
Mm-hmm. I know it.
So cool. And
So that one was on the asphalt in the moss. The first set of prints that we found about 50 prints, and that was the biggest one. That one was 18 inches. It's huge. And
it
that's,
is.
yeah. We couldn't cast them because it was on asphalt, and I didn't know how to cast on asphalt. But now I know that if you do have to cast on asphalt, you could use cooking spray to spray it first so the casting material won't stick to the asphalt.
Oh, I was gonna say I would take a measuring ruler or a what do you call the measuring tape
Mm-hmm.
and just measure it out. You don't need a casting. It's like you got the photo of it and you can take the measurements to go, look how big this is.
Yeah, we did. We ended up measuring. We went back up and measured it, and that one was 18 inches. That
Uh,
looks like to us, me and my friend Julie found that actually, and it looks like a nest to us, but it's on the side of a like not a cliff, but it's very, very steep. And that's actually focused way in on that. So it's on a really steep side of a hill.
So is this a cave here or an opening?
We think it's a nest, like some kind of
Because
nest. It's actually on the side of a slope.
right, because the reason I'm asking is with I'm sure we'll get to them. The photos of the portals that you have.
Oh yeah.
I imagine the energy is in a swirling motion, which would explain this phenomenon where it's a swirl could be reacting to the portal opening and closing.
That could be, Michael. I
And so I'm
never thought
wondering,
about that. Yeah. That's a good theory.
I don't know how we would prove it, but
Yeah, we'd have to wait. We'd have to camp out there and wait for it to open. There is a nice spot there to camp, though, right on the edge of the ridge.
yeah, you
Mhm.
would just have to do it for several years because I doubt that they would just go, oh, it's Shelly. We're all good. Turn it on.
You
She's
might. I
cool.
mean, they do that though. That's what they do now. Like they know it's me. They're like, oh, we'll just show ourselves.
Yeah.
That's an X.
And for those of you,
Yeah.
it's
Yep. It's kind of hard to see. I think I had several pictures to choose from, and they were very small, and that was the best one I think that I could find on my phone. That's a print. The stick at the bottom is the bottom of the print, and then you can see the toes up at the top. You can see the big toe on the left. Yep. And then the other 4 toes off to the right. So that's a right footprint.
and I like how the footprints are not always like clear in the mud. So,
Yeah.
you don't sit there and go, oh, it's like they're in all terrain. So it's like you really got to look where you're walking.
Yeah. Yeah, you really do. That's the first that portal. So there's 2 portals on one picture, and that's the first one.
We're talking
Yep.
about this right here, the
Yep.
rainbow and the swirling that's different from everything else.
Yep. Yep.
We'll hopefully get back to that.
That's a structure. You can see how it's built there. It's got all the sticks holding the one
It's
stick up in the center. And
almost like
that,
an A-frame.
yeah, and that is actually in past a big area of blackberry bushes, not some place where I would imagine some human being would walk up there and make that and then walk out. It just,
And I don't know why this is interesting to me, but look at all the tall trees with different type of barks in that little zone. It's
yeah,
like a little circle of trees right behind the structure,
yeah,
or at least behind by the photo
yeah,
angle.
yeah. It's really interesting. We see a lot of like meadows that we can't get to. We can see them beyond the trees, but we just cannot get to them because of the bush and the blackberries and the prickers and just the terrain is we can't get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
So
footprint. Yeah,
is
I
you
I
think
wear
the child or
A juvenile? Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
just doesn't seem as big and pronounced as the other
Mhm.
ones.
Yeah, I wear a size 10 in women's shoes, and that's my sandal. So its foot is smaller than mine. That's a footprint on the side of a hill. And I wanted to cast it so bad, but I didn't know how because it's on the side of a hill.
It almost looks like it was what could it be walking upright going up a
Yeah.
slide
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to lean over and use its hands like we do?
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah,
interesting
totally.
to watch.
It was one step because it was like 4 feet up, there was a step, and then there wasn't another step, and another 4 feet up was the where it leveled off. So it was one step.
It's good to be a Bigfoot, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody found that one of my patrons in the group found that in one of my pictures. It looks like a
That is definitely something looking at you.
I know.
You just, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it.
Yeah. I'm so glad I have the people that I have in my group because I don't see half of the stuff that they find. I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
I know. If you weren't looking, you could easily just go, "Oh, that's a dark spot."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's
Exactly.
clearly a shoulder with a head.
Yeah. That's what it looks like, huh? Yeah. That's a glyph. You can see the one stick in the middle and then the other sticks, one from each side crisscrossing it. Yeah. And that's also in a spot that would be hard for a human to get to. Of course,
Yeah.
that's focused in.
Well, and
But
the
that's,
brush has not been disturbed. It's like,
yeah, yeah. And that's in the same area where that other structure was. That's a footprint. You can see the toes up at the top there, barely, but you can see them.
it is interesting how they leave defined toe prints.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just, we thought it looked like it had been disturbed. I'm up there like 3, 4, 5 times a week. So I notice when things are new or if they've been moved or if something's been knocked down or something new has been built, you know? And so I can tell when something comes in and lays a bunch of sticks someplace, you know, or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That clearly looks like a doorway.
I know it looks like or like a cubby space where you would sit or something or, you know.
Get out of the weather.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. We're talking about all these footprints and everything in the soft ground.
Mhm.
Do you think, in your own opinion, they're out more in the rain or less in the rain, or they don't care?
I no, I in my opinion, I think they move more in the rain. Especially because when it rains up there in our area, it also gets really foggy. And I know that they move during the fog. So I think that, in my opinion, I think they use it to their advantage, the weather like that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. And they follow the elk too. And so this trail right here, that's that old logging trail. It's asphalt and it has moss on it. And that's where we found all the prints. So there's Bigfoot prints there, and then there's also elk prints. So they were obviously chasing elk, you know.
Yeah, I can't help noticing, and I don't know if it's my eyes playing tricks on me or
Hmm.
something, but it seems like everything on this side is very clear,
Mm-hmm.
like almost well defined, like you're taking a high definition photo.
Yeah.
And there's sunlight in the back, but not really in the front.
Uh-huh.
And then you go to this side, and it's like there's a dimensional haze
Yep.
behind the sun, and everything is like almost like it's there but not there kind of feel.
Yeah, totally. I totally get it too. I know. And that's the side where the habitat is. Like from there on to that side is habitat.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking
One
about
in the
this being
footprint.
asphalt. I was
Yep.
curious if that was like quartz or something ground up, but nope, it's asphalt.
Asphalt. Yep. It's like 100-year-old logging road. Not quite 100, but yeah.
Close enough.
Mm-hmm. That's my ghost photo. Can
There's
we talk
two.
about that?
Yeah, it looks like there's two of them.
I know. I mean,
Actually, three.
oh, wow. I never noticed that. Wow. Yeah, so this is a picture. We went to, when I was ghost hunting over on the East Coast, I would like to go to Savannah and Charleston a lot. I love Savannah and Charleston. And one of our trips to Charleston, we wanted to go to the dungeon, which is the old dungeon where they used to hold, unfortunately, they used to hold new potential slaves brought over from Africa and pirates and other criminals who had committed crimes. They used to hold all these people in the same spot, and they called it the dungeon. And it's either the city hall or the it's some other important kind of building. So we wanted to go down there and see it, but you had to go on the ghost tour, right? So we're like,
Right.
whatever. So we went on the ghost tour with like 20 other people, and it was the most amazing encounter I had ever had because I got touched. We went down into the basement, and as soon as we got down there, we went all the way to the back of the basement where it was really dark. And as you're going along, there's these rooms that are cordoned off with chains. And these chains, the links on them were like this. So one link would weigh like 30 pounds. They're iron chains that had actually came off the slave ships, right? So these chains are cordoning off these areas. And we get down there, and me and my ex-husband are at the back of the group, and we're just, because we're taking it all in. Everybody else is paying attention to the tour guide, and we're just like, whatever. So we're paying attention to what's going on behind everybody. And this one chain in the basement started swinging back and forth. And they're so heavy and they're so big. And then at the same time, something whispered in my ear, and I actually felt the breath, and I felt it brush against my face. And as it did that, my hair was down, and it kind of whisked like that. And my ex-husband saw it. And so I grabbed my face and I turned around and looked at him, and he ran over to the chain and grabbed hold of the chain to stop it. And we had gotten the attention of the group by then. We're like, hey, look at this. And he stopped the chain, and then he let go of it. And instantly it started swinging back and forth again. Hi, Tim. So anyways, it was swinging back and forth. So what we wanted to, like document it and hang out and like all this stuff. And the tour guide's like, okay, that's our cue to leave. And so she turns around and takes the group back out. I was like, what the heck? This is a ghost tour. Like, this is why we're here, you know?
Yeah.
So,
So I'm noticing you can't see it, but I'll try to point out
uh-huh.
that I don't know if you noticed
Mhm.
here is a head where you can see the nostrils and someone frowning.
Yeah,
Like there's the nostrils frown, the two eyes.
I do see that.
But here is an entire head of a man
That's a
with his
man.
body here, and it looks like a
Mhm.
blue necklace type deal or tie
Yeah,
pin.
that's my guy. I think that's my guy. I think he's the one that whispered in my ear
And
because go
right
on.
there's another one,
Yeah,
a partial.
yeah.
Oh,
That's crazy. So yeah, we started walking out. We had to follow the group out. They're like, "Nope, you got to come with us," you know. So as we're walking out, I'm just taking pictures of everything everywhere. And I took a picture that was off to the left. It was a boarded up window. And so I was just flashing pictures everywhere. And I took that picture. And then when I got home, actually back to Michigan, is when I noticed it.
that is really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing we're at 10 o'clock, and so
Oh,
I don't know if you have time to keep going or if we need to stop
yeah.
here.
No, I've got, we can keep going. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was recent actually. We had some movement over in the bushes and across the creek, and we took video of it. And when somebody that I know went through it and found that face, they dotted the eyes and circled the face.
I'm not gonna lie, that face to me
Mhm.
doesn't look like a Bigfoot. It looks more like a cat because of the thick nose and the
Yeah,
way the mouth is. Kind of, it
it
kind
looks
of
like
looks like a large cat looking at you.
it looks like a troll to me.
Well, trolls and cats have similar facial features.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but that's really cool that you caught that or somebody caught it.
Yeah, I think my friend Matt got that video. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
That's that print, that same print. That's an asterisk. That thing's been there forever, and they keep adding stuff to it. So the most recent things that they've added to that asterisk is the two bottom twigs or sticks that are leaning up against the tree, the big tree. The
Like what I
two,
would call the
see,
A-frame.
nope.
Oh,
Go to the tree sticking up. Yeah, right through the center. The one still in the ground.
oh, this one.
Nope, the other one. Right there. Yeah. See those two light colored sticks right there?
Oh, the ones that look like bamboo swords almost.
Yeah. Yeah, they just put those there recently. Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's their campground defensive
Yeah.
outpost.
Well, up the road from there, I think I found a nursery area.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like just some place where you would let your children play, you know. And that's one of my gifting stations.
So, did you make this barn or was it
Nope.
already there?
No, yeah, it was already there. They put it there. Um,
It's kind of interesting too that they only stacked two stones,
mhm.
or it actually could be three because this one is split.
Yeah, I think I've got another picture of it when I came back and it had been pushed down and it was just one stone because I thought the same thing. That's the double X that me and Julie just found. That's my friend Julie. And we just found that maybe about a month ago. Yeah.
So you're the same principle theory as a lot of people I've met who look into Sasquatch that if you can find these X's, you pretty much have found where they are or have been.
Mm-hmm. I believe it's a sign to tell us to stay out, like don't come in this area, because the spot where I thought where we had found a nursery area, there's X's there. And then also we put up a camera down this trail that you have to walk down. You can't drive it. And so Eric hiked back there and put up our trail cam. And when we came back, there was an X there that wasn't there before. And as soon as Eric moved out of the way of the camera moved. Like it tilted up so you could no longer see down the trail.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
That's,
yeah.
so this one, is that an owl or?
No, I think somebody said it's a Sasquatch. That's one of my pictures. My friends are just going through and they're like circling stuff. There's a Sasquatch, Michelle, right there.
I guess right here you could say, yeah.
That's what I think. I think that's what they're talking about. Yeah. But that's actually a structure there. Let's see how all the the trees are all standing up there. Yeah.
So here's an interesting question for you. I just thought of looking at this structure in particular. It has a very significant, like, TP-esque look.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder, did Sasquatch pass this down to indigenous tribes that they built TP style as well? Or do you think they got it from the indigenous?
I don't know. That's like asking what came first, the chicken or the egg. You know what I mean?
Well, there'd have to be the egg, because otherwise there was no chicken to lay the egg.
I guess. So was it the Sasquatch or the Indian?
That's what I mean. Is there a connection between the two?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there's a connection. I would think that there's a connection. Yeah, but who learned from who? I mean, the indigenous folks will say that Sasquatch has been around for as long as they have. Like they've interacted with them for thousands of years. So there's a footprint.
And we were talking about this beforehand, that this one I liked because it showed the back of the foot being heavier, where a lot of the prior photos of the footprints, you see the toes more defined.
Mm-hmm.
This one was the heel was more defined.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a cool one. Oh, that's the same photo. Yeah.
Yeah, we got it zoomed in, and I'm gonna see if I. Oh, this is the part where we had that audio clip, and it's not letting me fast forward past it.
Oh no. Yeah, so basically the audio, I'll tell you the story of the audio.
Oh, it did let me bypass.
There's so this is the whole portal picture. And they're right across from each other. That one looks like the black shadow figures that I had saw in the forest before with my other friend. That's what they looked like. And that's why I believe it's a portal, because it looks exactly like what we saw in the forest.
And many of you who watched my show, when I talk about Sasquatch or Bigfoots, I talk about them using portals and to travel, and why we can't click clear photos of them. And so I was teasing Shell that I was like, man, you finally got a photo that proves my theory.
Yeah.
There's 2 portals right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I truly believe that. I truly believe that they use portals after seeing it, the one appear and disappear like that right in front of me. There's no other way to explain it. You know what I mean?
I agree. And
Mhm. That's just a structure, a messy one.
I like how we've gotten so desensitized. We're like, it's just a structure.
It's just a structure. I know because we find so many. There's another one. We do though. Like in the area where we research, they're everywhere.
I like though how they're so simplistic, and it's like we view structures as needing like all these parameters, and theirs are just a
Yeah.
few sticks, laying against each other. Boom, done.
Mhm. Well, I was researching it, and there's this thing called forest remodelization or forest remodeling. And it's basically they just go through and they kind of just pick up the pieces and throw them around and stuff. And I see that a lot. Like where it would look like they just kind of picked up some stuff and threw it off to the side, you know? Or maybe even like juveniles. You know how juveniles, like little kids play with toys and they're all
Right?
messy? They make messes, you know? And so these are messy, kind of messy structures, like kids play, you know.
Yeah, I just had an interesting thought around that. Is we talk about how nature has guardians and everything, and we call them elementals a
Yeah.
lot of times. And before you get on my case, I'm not saying there are no elementals with what I'm about to say. These are different. Is could the Bigfoot have a contract with like the nature spirits to come in and be like, to take care of so there's not so much overgrowth that it kills off, start killing trees, that there's like a
Mhm.
balance, that they are knocking down or removing the debris, so to speak,
Mhm.
for new life to come in. And so they're balancing and caretaking it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that could be. I think there's a lot of other things in the forest aside from this Bigfoot. I know that there's shadow people, and I know that they're not the same thing, you know. I believe that the shadow people are the watchers. They're the messengers. They're the ones that, you know, kind of
Yeah.
look out for everything.
I just noticed this. I don't know if you noticed, these branches are growing in an arc.
They are. Yeah.
Why would they be doing that unless
Yeah.
something was there?
Right. And look, those ones, yeah, over here on this side, those ones are kind of going down too. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
It's
Yeah.
always good to have fresh eyes looking at photos
Yeah.
and checking out toenails.
Yeah. Those, those footprint.
Okay,
There
last
it
photo.
is.
We saved
Yeah.
the best one for last. You
Yeah.
definitive. That is Portal.
That is Portal. Yeah. That looks like the shadow figures that me and my other friend had seen on a trail.
Yeah, it almost looks like the upper torso and arm,
Mhm.
the head, and they're
Yeah.
wearing some like kind of eyewear,
Yeah.
which would make sense if you're in a shadow dimension and you're coming to a place that's full of light. You would need something to protect your eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. No neck. No neck. Yeah.
Well,
Just big old shoulders and a head.
and
Mm.
it looks like, oh, that is wild. You know the knots that we see in trees, how sometimes they look thick and bulging out?
Yeah.
That's kind of what this looks like, is that bulging And so now I have to wonder, when you look at trees
Yeah.
that have those big knots, if that's
Yeah.
the portal.
Right. Yeah.
That's how they mark them, is they have that big, thick ring, so to
Hmm.
speak, and that's where they can travel in and out of. And
Yeah.
I
Maybe.
follow like James Gilliland and a few others
Hmm.
who believe the Sasquatches live in the trees, possibly, or use the trees to transport themselves around.
Oh, wow.
And so seeing this portal literally on the tree,
Uh-huh.
I kind of feel like almost is like a validation of them saying, yeah, this is our means of travel. This is how we get around.
Yeah. And the cool thing about that is one of my research partners took that, Matt, and Matt has some really amazing experiences with them. And he's such a kind soul. Most of the people I associate have really kind souls, but Matt has such a kind soul that I could see them displaying that to Matt, like look, this is what we can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, now that I'm looking at it too, it almost looks like there's an ear here, and the top of the head would be here, a nose, and
Oh.
what we're calling the head of the shadow
Uh-huh.
is an eye, and the
Wow.
mouth being open.
Yeah.
So that could be a cryptid coming out of the tree, actually,
Could be. Yeah.
because that could be a mouth opening with the
Uh-huh.
eye right there. Looks like a dog nose.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see it. I see it. Oh my gosh.
And,
It's kind of scary. Yeah.
and
It's intimidating.
okay, well, that's that for the
Nice.
slideshow.
Yeah.
And
So
so,
do we have enough time? Can I tell you another story?
of course,
I have so many. We didn't even get to like half of them, but this is a really cool one that just happened this July. And it's about the audio that I have. So we, I took a friend of mine, Jimmy Toongate from um, Off Road X Files. I took him up to my camping spot to share that with him. And it was just him and I, and nobody else was available to go that weekend. And so usually Eric is up there. I told you that. Usually Eric comes up. Well, it was just Jimmy and I. And as soon as it got dark at like around 9:15 that night, we started hearing grunts up on the hill, which is just like maybe 20 feet up above us, right? And so we started hearing grunting, and that's what the audio was, because it was really intimidating. It sounded like something was angry or irritated. Um, and then I had several people listen to it, and they're like, "Well, it's a grizzly. It sounds like a grizzly." But we don't have normally we don't have grizzly in the Cascades. Technically, they're not there. They are there though, because a friend of mine actually got a picture of a female and her cubs like a couple years ago. So,
mhm,
anyways, and then it did that for the longest time, and finally we went to bed. Jimmy went to bed in his truck, and I slept in my car, and I locked the doors. And then at 5 o'clock in the morning, I got out of my car. And the other audio is when I got out of my car, I kind of cleared my throat and it grunted at me again. So, whatever it was pacing back and forth on the hill all night long. And it was there at 5 o'clock in the morning when I woke up, which is not bear behavior at
yeah,
all. And so instantly I thought, it had to have been a Sasquatch. And he was angry or upset because Eric wasn't there. I'd brought somebody else up there and I was there by myself, you know?
Yeah.
So he's
And
like, this is not normal and this is not, I'm worried about you, you know?
well, and what's funny too about it is when we were talking before we started, when we were going through, so you had an idea of what photos I had picked,
Mhm.
the audio being there, I mentioned to you it was hard to hear and make out. But what I didn't tell you, and I wish I did because now it's going to sound like I'm trying to match your story, is I thought the audio didn't come through clearly because I heard someone walking. Like you would hear the breathing of the heavy walking of
Yeah.
going by, and I was like, okay,
Mhm.
so somebody was walking. I guess I'm missing what I'm supposed to be hearing, and finding out that is what I was supposed to be hearing.
Yeah. So it's interesting because when I have my headphones on and I listen to it, you should try it later. Just listen to it with your headphones on. Um, there's wolves about a mile down the hill that you could hear howling. And then you can hear the thing up on the hill grunting and pacing back and forth. And then you can also hear me and Jimmy standing there whispering, and probably some of the footsteps are ours as well. And then you can hear a gun cock because we were terrified. You know, normally we don't bring out weapons. I don't, you know, but I don't mind if, you know, that makes somebody feel better as long as it's for protection and it's not for hunting. So,
Right.
or hunting Sasquatch, because we don't hunt Sasquatch.
No.
Over my dead body, will that ever happen?
We need those.
Exactly. But yeah, you can hear a lot of different things if you just put those headphones on and listen to it.
Yeah, and not to go too much into the conspiracy theory world of Sasquatch, but
Mhm.
I'm just curious if you, with all your research, ever heard the story of the last great fire of Yellowstone. I heard the military was there because there were bodies being taken away from the fire zone that were too big to be human. And so they were like, they didn't want the public to think Bigfoot was there. So
Yeah.
they were trying to cover that up, and like they were airlifting bodies of Bigfoot out of Yellowstone from the fire zone.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's true about Yellowstone, but I do know that that was true about Mount St. Helens. And I think maybe the story might be confused with location. I have a friend who was there for that purpose and saw it happen. So, yeah,
It could
but
be Mount St. Helens.
yeah,
They're in
but
the
it was,
same zone.
are they?
Well,
Well, kind
Yellowstone
of
is
they are. They're
southern
kind of
Montana.
close.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're close, aren't they?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so, um, yeah, I've heard that as well. That's all I
Yeah.
can say about that. That's all I wanna say about that.
There's your daily conspiracy theory.
Yep. Courtesy of me.
So to wrap this up, because it is getting late, and
Mhm.
I know for you it's still early, but it's
Yeah,
getting late here.
yeah.
Is with all your experiences around Bigfoot and all your experiences on the East Coast,
Mhm.
what advice do you have to up and coming people who are interested in like the cryptids?
Wow. Um, I would say to let it flow naturally. I find that if you go out and you just kind of ground yourself and don't have any expectations and just um you know connect with your surroundings, things happen more naturally, you know. I think that more things will happen that way too. I think that a lot of people get all excited and they try to get really, like try to conjure things into happening. And I think that's not the right way to do it, because I've done that. I've done that before. And I've found that just grounding yourself and just, connecting and letting the energy flow through you, become a conduit, then you just kind of attract that kind of stuff. So just get connected with nature and, get connected with your surroundings.
Very cool. And I will say, if you want to get a hold of Michelle and ask her questions about Sasquatch or interested in her group, the links are in the description, so you can always reach out to her there.
Mm-hmm.
And before we go, is there anything up and coming that you wish to promote out or you have
Yeah.
coming up?
Yeah. So my friend Tom Cantrell and Barb Shoup, they are having, well, it's Tom's town hall meeting this weekend, Saturday. It's at 2:00 in Enumclaw, I think is how you say it, Enumclaw, Washington. And they're promoting it on Facebook, but it's his town hall meeting. He has one every month, and this month I'm speaking. Yay! So I'm excited about it.
Well,
Come
congratulations.
on down on the 18th.
That's exciting and, well earned.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's really
And,
great talking to you. Oh my gosh, I love your show. It's awesome. Thank you
well,
so
thank
much
you.
for having me.
Yes, we'll have to have you back on because you guys have no idea. I thinned out the photo evidence that she was talking about just from this summer.
Hmm.
So you can imagine there's more footage to come and
Hmm.
probably even more experiences and stories. So we will
Definitely.
definitely have you back on.
We haven't even touched like this whole other realm of like mediumship and stuff. Yeah, we didn't even get into that.
We hinted at it a little here and a little there.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, and according to your bio, the way you were describing topics is we covered the Bigfoots.
Hmm.
We did talk about the cryptids a little. We
Hmm.
didn't really get to the paranormal experiences though, except for the one.
One. That was the big one. That was like the most impressive one I've ever had.
So there is definitely more to come. So we will definitely have her back, most likely for season 4 in 2026. So make sure
Yay.
you follow the channel and click like, and if you enjoyed the episode, and do leave comments. I actually do respond to all the comments as soon as I see them. So forgive me if a few days or a week may go by. I don't always get notified,
Mhm.
but I do check regularly. So I will personally respond as soon as I see it. And Michelle, before I close this out, I just have one message for you.
Okay.
From my heart and the heart of my show to you, thank you for what you're doing for humanity.
Aw, thank you. Thanks for like bringing it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's seen, it's noticed. So
Thank you.
hopefully more people will notice now and
Yes.
will work on getting the
Yeah.
truth about, Sasquatch and not something to be hunted and trophied, that it's
Yeah.
something
I
that needs to be caretaked.
I want people to know what my intentions are, for sure.
Yeah. So thank you for coming on. And I know, you know, we had a lot of fun and we were having fun talking before
Mhm.
as well. And I know coming on to podcast shows is kind of, I like to say, a 50-50 shot. You
Yeah.
never know what's going to happen, what it's going to be like. And so
Yeah.
thank you for trusting me enough to come on and share.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for being an awesome host.
Well, thank you. You made it easy. And with that, I'm going to say goodnight to everyone and have a wonderful evening. And Michelle, enjoy the rest of your night because I know it's like what 8:30 there.
Yeah, it's still early. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you. Have a wonderful evening and week, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.